welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is July 29th, 2026. Okay, so I've got lots of tweets for you today. It was a little bit easier today. It wasn't just all talking about silly things. It was actually a lot of crypto news and a lot of things out there for that. But anyways, let's go through the charts first. But as always, it's not financial advice. It's just kind of stuff I'm looking at and doing and playing around with. So ETH is down, but things are not bleak. We're still like crabbing around up here at its little local high, right? So I'm okay with this. Things are okay here. Let's see how BTC is doing. Similar, right? Crabbing along. Sonic is it breaking through? Oh, it's back down. Yeah, Sonic's gonna have a hard time recovering this. But you know, I'm hopeful for them for sure. So let's take a look at gold. Gold is bouncing around. Let me see through my position. Bouncing around the bottom of my LP, which kind of sucks, but at least I'm still down in range. I don't know if gold's going to recover or not, but anyhow, I think it will as more. Anyhow, let's move on to the stocks. Okay, so as mentioned, I've started trading or LPing stocks on Robinhood Ramses. So I've got two positions open right now. I've got an SPY through here. I think it's going to recover eventually, and I don't think it's going to go below these lows here. And even if it does come out the bottom a little bit here, I'm going to leave it and not touch this, right? Google, I also, found, I opened it down here at this bottom, and I found it to be pretty oversold, so I decided to open this position and take my profit line at about 380. It's now sitting in the middle of my range, so I don't know if it's going to recover or not, but I still feel it's okay. Now, ScanDisk blew out the bottom of my position, and I was looking at this, and there's nothing really holding it up except for down here. So I pulled this before it goes all the way down here. I pulled this liquidity. I lost a couple $100 on this silly bet, but it was mostly like a meme coin type trade where it's like we all know that ScanDisk is needed in the sense that RAM is needed, AI is hungry, but I don't know if this is the best time to enter this kind of trade. I think it would be much better to enter down here, but anyhow, it is what it is. So I'm not really, I don't have any reasoning for ScanDisk specifically to bet this. I was just kind of degen and aping shit around. So I pulled my liquidity from here. So this is no longer, and I just stuck it into the S&P for now until I do some more research on where is a good place to do this. Let's move over to the tweets of the day. Okay, so here we have Approve. He's the founder of Wallet Chan, which is like a wallet, Rabby MetaMask competitor type thing, and he's working hard to get things done and to see what's happening and building his wallet to be competitive and so forth. Now I don't use Wallet Chan. I haven't downloaded this yet, but I keep telling myself I should, but I just haven't done it yet. I'm a little bit hesitant to stick my seed phrases into a whole bunch of wallets, but I might do it anyways. And maybe instead of doing a seed phrase, I'll just import a private key here or there to test it out. But anyways, fresh new look on Wallet Chan, native private mode via privacy pools. So it's got privacy pools built into it, so you can send your tokens to somewhere else privately. It's got Ledger and Safe Accounts support. Yeah, so you can give it a try. Here it is at the Chrome store. So let's say with this dedicated privacy tab for Shield. So if you click the privacy tab, then you can send assets. Basically use privacy pools, but without their front end, right in the wallet. I'm pretty sure this already has, so it has batching, so you can batch up your transactions so you can approve and spend in the same transaction. Revamped transaction request screen with clear signing and improved simulation. So that's pretty good. So now you can more clearly see what's going on. Quickly unlock via biometric. Now, I always wonder about this. Like, I get biometrics for a cell phone, but I don't really do a lot of like crypto stuff on my cell phone. I don't really think that's a good idea. So I mostly do all my crypto on my desktop. So I wouldn't be using that. And some browser pages where you can kind of go through and find front ends to work with and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's definitely worth checking out. I really should try to check it out and use it. There's a lot of stuff in this. I'm going to retweet this, of course, and you can kind of go through every little detail and check out all of these little features. It's a pretty extensive thread on the features that they've added to this wallet. Check it out. Ethereum Foundation has hired sudo rm blah blah blah, blah preserve guy. I followed him for quite some time. So apparently he's going to be helping out a little bit more with privacy features. So longtime Ethereum contributor, co-founder of SEAL 911, Silviculture Society member, and privacy and security maximalist. Okay, so so they did, I don't want to say fire. They did drop a whole bunch of people from the Ethereum Foundation, but it's not like they were unwinding it completely. Obviously, they're just changing, rotating the crops, so to speak. So, anyways, he's there. The whole Ethereum ecosystem coming together, great to see. Notice anyone missing though. So here we have institutional, Ethereum institutional, which is another, I can't even remember what these things are called. Another, group of people that are all working together to bring Ethereum to the higher grounds and stuff like that, to all-time highs and stuff, and working together. But as you can see, a lot of people combined together to give this Ethereum institutional legway and so forth. So anyhow, so you can check this out. It's just another foundation that has kind of dropped and is working together to make Ethereum grow. Okay, so over to Frax Finance. Frax has a new partner, Thesis. US dollar is pegged with FRX USD. They've chosen FRX USD. I don't know anything about Theseus other than it's an AI crypto stablecoin type thing. So all agent wallets plus commerce across Thesis will be powered by FRX USD, trusted digital dollars for AI. So you should probably look at Thesis. This is not a peg keeper, I think. I guess it's just a what is it? Agency for agents, DM for early access. So anyhow, they've decided to use FRX USD as their stablecoin in their network, and that's fantastic. Moving on. So Kaito has dropped this long tweet here, talking about the features that they're going live with. So Kaito's coming back. So we're going to have lots of people doing some paid shilling, but it's a little bit different. Where was it? I'm pretty sure I highlighted it, but I guess I'll have to dig through and look for it. So there's a few features that they can... here it is. So built by Kaito's latest intelligent infrastructure, projects can attribute rewards using a flexible set of criteria, including mindshare, clicks, signups, deposits, in-platform activity, and more. So yeah, so it's a marketing platform for, and I guess they realized that it was ineffective to just pay people to tweet, and now they're building more of like a KPI metric type marketing thing where your actual influence or effect is what gets you paid, as opposed to just the quality of your content. Now, I'm always worried about this kind of stuff because there are a lot of grifters. Grifters have a lot of clout and a lot of impact on a lot of people. So, they're the ones who are going to be getting paid, whereas people who actually just educate properly don't have as much because, they spend too much time or it's too fast. Whereas, someone who just says, go buy this token or go deposit your assets here, you're going to be rich. that person might get more money than someone who explains what the thing does. But anyways, I don't know. Maybe that's just me being biased and salty. Moving on. So Kate talks about this thing here, and he's like a warning to smaller accounts on crypto Twitter about InfoFi. She's basically saying don't go out and buy Kaito tokens just because you saw this. You saw this. Oh, it's going to be huge, so go out and buy Kaito tokens. No, she's saying don't do that because like all of the whales are not doing it. They're not buying Kaito and staking Kaito to earn their share of the revenue or fees or whatever. They're just longing Kaito on perps, and then those they're gonna dump, right? Once all the retail pumps it, then they'll take their profits. So so that's what she's basically warning of happening to people. I always say to people, don't buy any tokens. Like you should, but someone has to buy them, right? But I don't buy them. I don't buy anything. I just farm it if I can. There's a few tokens that I'm willing to buy, but for the most part, I'm not going to buy governance tokens and stake them, especially when they're farmable. Moving on, so Yearn Finance dropped this thread here to talk about Liquidity's Bold, in specifically the Y Bold, and why there are these huge spikes in APR or periodically. So there's two key cases here. The first case is that the interest rate. So the people who are minting the Bold and borrowing it, they have control over their interest rate, and they keep spiking it. Especially as you can see, our ETH has these huge spikes, and Yearn basically deposits into all three of the stability pools, and rebalances based on which one is performing better. So right now, it's probably the majority of it is in the R ETH stability pool, and then the WST ETH, and then a small amount in the ETH. Now, of course, there's some risk there that they consider as well. So they're getting more APR because they're watching these spikes and rebalancing for you into the best yielding stability pools, of course. Now, the other reason is liquidations. So when liquidations do happen, Yearn harvests those ETH and immediately sells it for Bold. So you before it continues to go down, because usually we have a liquidation and then another one, and then there's like a cascading effect. But it's basically getting that ETH immediately, selling it before it's continuing to go down, hopefully, right? Now it could recover, and they could hold that ETH until it recovers and make even more, but then they have to assume it's going to recover, so they don't do that. So if you wanted to assume that it was going to recover, then you probably want to do this manually, instead of using and collect that ETH and then wait for it to recover and sell it. You might be able to make a little bit more, but this is more for somebody who wants to just deposit here and not worry about it. So you can check it out, this tweet here. Of course, I'll retweet it and you can look at it. So Binji's got this tweet here, basically shilling BTC ETH, saying, it's the only thing that matters. And it's because AI is growing so fast. Pretty soon we're going to have like AI Cold War type thing. Like if you think back in the day where the Russian Cold War, where they were just building up massive amounts of like weaponry in both America and Russia and Europe, and they just that kind of thing, right? But instead with AI technology, now AI technology is not going to be like, I want to hold US dollars. Maybe the AI in America might want to hold US dollars, but the Chinese AI won't. So what will they hold? These AI agents will want to like interact with one another. So they're going to use this like they're going to use an asset that is actually like neutral, right? And in this case, they're talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I think Ethereum over Bitcoin even, because Ethereum actually has the ability to do things other than just store the value. But I'm not saying, I will not store value in Bitcoin, but I'm much more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin because, I believe AI agents want to do things with their assets and not just hold assets. But anyways, so you can check out this tweet here and see what he says. So, okay, Tammy drops this thing about Ondo perps. Now, I found this to be pretty interesting. I didn't even know Ondo created perps, but basically, I guess they have this perp thing that is for trading US stocks with leverage, ETFs, commodities, 24/7 with 20x leverage. I should probably check it out, but you can do that if you want. And but here, like it says here, trades are executed privately inside a secure hardware. Multiple attesters verify that only the approved code can run, and each holds part of the keys of the system needs. So the idea of this tweet is pretty straightforward in that, like, Ondo was like, we want to do perps, right? But the execution is bad, so we need to like create some sort of execution environment that is similar to a centralized exchange, and we want that to be private so people cannot see everyone's positions, right? So what they've done is they've kind of segregated the execution environment to like a private network. However, the attesters can verify that that network's code is not, doing anything silly or strange. They haven't updated some sort of backdoor or some sort of ability to see everyone's positions and trading them and stuff like that. So I guess that's what it's going. Now, the idea here is they were going to create their own L1 to do everything, but they said, forget it. Let's just create this like hidden private execution environment, and then we can just settle the assets on chain to the chains that are already there. Now, I assume they're using Ethereum, but I have asked, where is it settled? But I don't know. So I haven't played with these perps at all, but I think it's pretty interesting. Something you can definitely check out. Last thing I'm going to look at today is Andre Cronje's stablecoin, 10.5% on USDC on Ethereum. Stable for over 2 months, still increasing, 7% on Sonic. So if you don't have size and you don't want to pay like 50 cents or $1 to deposit, you can just go to Sonic and get the 7%. If you supply USDC on this pool on Morpho, you get about 5%. It's just all on chain. Super cool. So check it out. Last thing I'm going to talk about today is this article here. Capital efficiency and concentrated liquidity. I haven't read through this entire thing, but I'm going to read through these key findings, and then you can come and check out this. There's a lot of people talking about this today. I think I have one more tweet after this, but let's go through this. Out of range is the floor. About 30% of concentrated liquidity sits fully outside the active range, earning nothing. So they found that a lot of assets are sitting outside of range. I think that's fine in some cases. Like if I open up something like this, right? And let's say I open up maybe this one here. As you can see, this is outside of range, but this is all stable coins. In my case, it's interest-bearing stable coins waiting to buy the dip, which is fine, right? Which is totally fine. And then, maybe you have a range up here to sell assets, right? So that's okay. You can use concentrated liquidity to do this. In this case, I'm using range orders, which is a type of concentrated liquidity. But it's just, this is only stable coins. And if it goes down here, it buys the asset, but it doesn't sell it when it goes back up, right? I can put my sell order up here. So anyhow, that's kind of that. So a third of the idle capital is dormant. More than a third of the outer range capital, around 200 million, sat untouched for 90 days. Not just briefly. I think this is just a lack of monitoring. People are they're just not worried about it. They're just not watching things. Distance strands liquidity more than volatility. The idle shares rises with how far the price travels over a week, but it's not affected much by frequently smaller moves. Violent weeks that round trips leave positions in range, while a quiet one-off drift pushes them out. I don't understand this completely. I have to read it when I'm not running a podcast. Most idle capital sits in individual wallets. So yeah, it's not it's not controlled by a protocol or something like this, right? And no design escapes it. Which protocol looks idlest flips depending on the pair. The Uniswap v4, the newest architecture, sits right where v3 does at about 30%. Every venue carries roughly the same idle share. So yeah, there's a lot of idle assets sitting outside of range. that's the idea of this. I do have to read this in a little bit more depth, especially when I have some time. But yeah, I think it's probably, this is 1inch and Dune working together to write this. 1inch is probably going to drop some ideas soon in the future to try to address this issue. But I don't know. I'm speculating there. But anyhow, let's see what this last tweet is. Oh, this is just me talking to Alexander. So Alexander was talking about this tweet, and he's like, oh, I think it's the most capital efficient. So according to that article, Aerodrome's the most capital efficient. And I replied to him, and I said, I don't think this is really true. I think it indicates that aero users know how to rebalance or are more likely to use wider ranges. Perhaps they're more sophisticated and comfy. And I do wonder that because they're getting aero rewards, are they okay with having wider ranges? Maybe like Uniswap users, they're getting the fees, so they want to maximize these fees, so they use these tighter ranges. Whereas Euro, they're going to get these aero tokens, so they're okay with being a little bit wider range. Yeah. So yeah, but like he says, the system only incentivizes active liquidity, liquidity that is actually useful. That's why it wins. But Uni only incentivizes active liquidity too, in the form of fees. So yeah, I still think my point is good, and I don't think he understands it. Like every DEX only incentivizes active liquidity, because whether you're getting fees or reward tokens, you're still only getting them if you're in range, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is, maybe people think, oh, I'm going to get aero tokens, so I'm okay with having wider ranges because I'm going to get aero tokens, and aero tokens are better than fees. So I don't know. Maybe that's what people are thinking. Anyhow, that's it for today. I hope this has been interesting, useful. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.